What if your birth date wasn't random at all? What if it was chosen for you? Not by accident, not by chance, but as a signpost, marking your arrival as someone meant to awaken something deep in this world? What if I told you that the exact day you came into this life, the hour you took your first breath, was inscribed with hidden meaning, invisible to most, but profoundly alive in the language of the cosmos? This isn't just a poetic idea. Across cultures, spiritual traditions have always spoken of those who are marked, not by status or fame, but by an inner call, a different kind of vibration. And maybe, just maybe, you've always felt a little different. Maybe the world's noise never drowned out your inner knowing. Maybe you've carried a quiet feeling that your life was meant to mean something more. This video may be unlike others you've seen, because we're not just listing traits or facts. We're exploring something sacred, something overlooked. How your birth date might be a portal, not just a number. There is wisdom hidden in your date of birth, not just in astrology or numerology, but in the deeper spiritual patterns that echo through time. Patterns that may explain why you felt joy differently, why pain transforms you, why silence sometimes speaks louder to you than words ever could. So listen closely, not because I have answers, but because these truths might already live in you, waiting to be remembered. What does it really mean to be chosen? Is it a blessing? A burden? Maybe it's both. Or maybe it's a kind of remembering, a soul contract signed before you were born, a promise you made to the world. Today we begin a journey, a gentle unfolding of mystery, a quiet conversation between your spirit and the stars that watched you arrive. Let's explore together, not to prove anything but to feel and remember who you might really be. The concept of the chosen one. To understand what it truly means to be a chosen one, we must look beyond ego, beyond the idea of being special or superior, and listen instead to the quiet truth echoed in the world's oldest spiritual stories. Being chosen has never meant being above others. It means carrying something within, a unique frequency, a kind of soul assignment, a whisper from the universe that your life carries a particular purpose. Across traditions and timelines, we see this pattern. A soul hears a call, often quietly at first, and their life begins to shift. They're not crowned. They're not always confident. In fact, they often feel unworthy. But something in them knows. Think of Moses, not born into power, but into danger. Chosen not because he was perfect, but because he could listen. Because when the burning bush spoke, he answered, even with trembling hands. Or the Buddha, a prince who walked away from every comfort, every luxury, to seek something deeper, not for himself alone, but for the liberation of all sentient beings. Joan of Arc, a teenage girl, heard voices no one else did. She followed a calling that defied logic, fear, and even her own understanding. Her path was not easy, but it was undeniable. These stories are not meant to make us feel small. They are mirrors. Because the truth is, being chosen isn't about status. It's about service. It's about carrying light into darkness, even when your hands shake. It's about showing up, even when no one sees you. It's about having a heart that breaks open instead of shutting down. A spirit that keeps rising, not to prove something, but to answer something, a deeper call. And this may surprise you, but everyone is chosen in their own way. You are not here by accident. You were never meant to be like anyone else. Your life, your struggles, your timing, your pain, even your dreams, they are the ingredients of your purpose. You don't have to become anything to be chosen. You already are. This message is not to separate you from others. It's to bring you home to yourself, to remind you that the call isn't always loud, but it's always there, waiting for you to say yes. Astrological significance of birth dates. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered if the stars were trying to tell you something? Not in a loud or demanding voice, but in a quiet pattern, a cosmic code written in light. The moment you were born, the planets were aligned in a very specific way. That alignment, your birth chart, is like a celestial fingerprint, unique, irreplaceable, deeply symbolic. Ancient wisdom teaches us that astrology isn't about fortune-telling. It's about pattern seeing. It's a mirror for the soul, not a sentence for the future. Your birth chart may reveal your spiritual inclinations, your innate gifts, and even the lessons you came here to learn. Not because you are limited by it, but because it can help you remember who you truly are. If you were born under a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, you may carry deep rivers of feeling. You sense things others miss. You hear what isn't said. Your path often includes compassion, healing, and intuitive knowing. These signs remind us that spiritual insight often comes not from thought, but from feeling, from the quiet knowing that comes when the mind is still and the heart is open. If you were born under a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, you might feel the call to lead, to speak truth, to set light to the darkness with your boldness. Fire signs often come into this world to ignite, to activate, to wake others up, not through force but through presence, through their burning aliveness. But astrology isn't just about your sun sign. The dance of planets creates aspects, specific angles, that tell a deeper story. A trine, especially between the Sun and Neptune, or the Moon and Jupiter, can point to powerful spiritual sensitivity. These are the dreamers, the visionaries, the ones who feel at home between worlds. And then there's Chiron, the wounded healer. Wherever Chiron appears in your chart may show a place of deep pain, but also deep medicine. A wound that, once tended, becomes your greatest source of wisdom. You see, these planetary positions don't dictate who you are. They invite you to explore who you might be. They are maps, not prisons. Clues, not commands. The stars don't control you, but they may whisper. And if you listen, you might hear the subtle echoes of why you are here. So when we speak of being chosen, understand this. Your chart is not proof of your superiority. It is a reflection of your responsibility to awaken, to grow, and to use what you've been given with love. Whether you were born in water or fire, under light or shadow, your stars are yours, and they hold a mirror to the sacredness of your journey. Numerology and life path numbers. Have you ever noticed how some numbers keep showing up in your life? A birthday, a clock, a total on a receipt. It's as if the universe is whispering through numbers, reminding you that you are not here by accident. Numerology is one of the oldest mystical languages. It suggests that behind every number is a vibration, a frequency that carries meaning for your soul's path. Among these, the life path number is like the headline of your soul's story in this lifetime. It doesn't predict your future, but it can shine light on your natural gifts, your deep challenges, and your sacred purpose. To find your life path number, you simply reduce your full birth date to a single digit. For example, if you were born on July 25, 1990, 7 plus 2 plus 5 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 0 is equal to 33, and then 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. Your life path number is 6. Each number from 1 to 9 has its own vibration, its own voice, and though it's just one layer of who you are, understanding it can feel like remembering something you always knew. 1 is the leader, the spark, the soul who came to create new paths, to act with courage, to begin. 2 is the harmonizer, the peacekeeper, the one who listens deeply and connects hearts with tenderness. 3 is the creative child, the joyful communicator, born to express, to laugh, to bring beauty to the world. 4 is the builder, the grounded soul, the one who turns dreams into structure, who walks with steady strength. 5 is the adventurer, the free spirit, here to explore, to question, to live with passion and movement. 6 is the healer, the nurturer, the one who creates harmony in homes, relationships, and hearts. 7 is the seeker, the philosopher, drawn to the mysteries, walking between worlds, craving inner truth. 8 is the manifester, the powerhouse, learning to balance the material and spiritual, and lead with purpose. 9 is the humanitarian, the old soul, the one who feels the pain of the world and works to heal it with love. And then, there are the master numbers, 11, 22, 33. They are not better, but they bring amplified energy, intensity, spiritual calling. These numbers speak of service, awakening, and responsibility. 11 is the spiritual messenger, the channel. It walks the line between light and shadow and often feels everything more deeply. 22 is the master builder, here to bring vision into reality, not just for self but for humanity. 33 is the master teacher, a number of compassion. These souls carry great wisdom and deep tests. They often guide others through love, creativity, and sacrifice. But always remember, these numbers do not define you. They invite you. They are not limits. They are reflections. Your choices, your growth, your willingness to walk your path with awareness. That's what defines you. So when you hear your life path number, don't let it box you in. Let it remind you, you came here with purpose, with rhythm, with a sacred vibration that only you carry. And in the great symphony of souls, every number matters, including yours. Spiritually significant birth dates. Some dates carry an energy that feels like a soft whisper from the cosmos. Not louder, not better, just distinct, like the way dawn carries a different feeling than midnight. These birth dates aren't labels of importance, but mirrors of potential echoes of deeper rhythms. January 1st, 1/1, a date that marks not just the start of the calendar year, but often the birth of initiators, those who walk first, who see new visions when others are still dreaming. Their life might carry the energy of bold beginnings. February 29th, the leap day, so rare it only comes every 4 years. People born on this day may feel like they don't quite fit the mold. And that's because they aren't meant to. Their energy is intuitive, otherworldly. They often move through life as if dancing to a rhythm others don't hear. March 21st, the spring equinox, a time of balance, day and night meeting as equals. Those born on this date may carry the energy of rebirth, of sacred transition. They bring new life not just biologically, but in ideas, communities, and hopes. April 11th. This date carries the vibration of master number 11. Deep spiritual intuition, insight, and awakening. Individuals born on this day may experience life with heightened sensitivity, profound visions, and an inner call to guide. May 5th. 5 out of 5. A double 5. The number of freedom, transformation, and the winds of change. Those born on this day often move through many lifetimes within one. They shift, adapt, grow, and inspire others to do the same. June 21st, the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. Birth here often comes with the energy of nurturing light. These are the warm givers, the soul comforters, those who bring illumination through kindness. July 7th, 7/7, the echo of the seeker. This date resonates deeply with the inner path. Those born here may feel called toward mysticism, solitude, dreams, and inner knowing. They often swim in currents unseen by others. August 8th. Known in many traditions as the Lionsgate portal. It carries energy of divine power, transformation, and leadership through love, not force. Those born here may have a mission to create change, not just for themselves, but for the world. September 9th. September 9th. The number of service and completion. Souls born on this day often carry wisdom beyond their years. They close cycles, heal old wounds, and remind us that the end is always also a beginning. October 10th. Powerful day of reset. October 10th suggests a double doorway, an invitation to step into leadership that's grounded in renewal. These are often the visionaries who end one phase boldly and begin another with grace. November 11th. 11/11. The Awakening Code, a spiritual portal. Many feel something on this day, even if they can't explain it. Birth on this date may come with a destiny to awaken others, simply by being fully awake within oneself. December 21st. Winter solstice, the longest night, but also the turning point toward light's return. People born here often carry the soul of the phoenix, falling, resting, and rising again. They teach us how darkness leads to rebirth. And while these dates hold deep symbolic resonance, let us remember with humility, every single day holds spiritual potential. Every birthday is a cosmic appointment. So if your date isn't listed, that doesn't mean it's not special. It simply means its meaning is yours to discover. And maybe that mystery is its greatest gift. Being chosen isn't about exclusivity. It's about awakening. And every soul in their own time is called. These dates are not gates that lock others out. They are reminders that the universe speaks to us in patterns, in poetry, in light. Signs you may be a chosen one. Some signs don't arrive with thunder. They come as quiet inner nudges. So familiar, you almost overlook them. Being chosen doesn't mean you're louder or more visible. It often means you carry a different frequency. Subtle, deep, and quietly powerful. One of the first signs many feel is a strong intuition. Not just hunches, but those gut feelings that whisper before your mind has time to think. You may have felt something was off or just right, and later found out you were right all along. You might also feel emotions that aren't yours. You walk into a room and suddenly feel heavy or light without knowing why. That's empathic ability. When your heart is tuned to others, even when they don't speak. Your dreams may not be ordinary. They're vivid, sometimes prophetic, other times symbolic. You wake with the feeling that something deep just spoke to you, even if you can't explain it in words. Have you ever noticed patterns that feel too perfect to be coincidence? Seeing 11:11 everywhere. Meeting someone at the exact right moment. That's synchronicity. The universe's way of showing you you're not lost, you're aligned. People may come to you when they need comfort. Not for advice, but because your presence feels safe. You may not call yourself a healer, but your energy gently repairs what words can't touch. And for some, this pull began early. You were drawn to spiritual ideas, philosophy, the deeper layers of life, long before most people your age cared to ask those kinds of questions. Perhaps you've often felt different, like you didn't quite fit into the world around you. You weren't broken. You were simply tuned to another station, a frequency not everyone hears. You may feel deep in your bones that you have a mission, not one someone gave you, but one that won't leave you alone. It's not always clear, but it's constant, like a quiet voice asking you to keep going, to serve something greater. And then there are the moments that logic can't explain. Visions, near-death experiences, encounters that leave you forever changed. These are spiritual awakenings, when the veil thins and for a moment, you see. You may also be sensitive to your environment. Certain places drain you, others fill you. You feel the energy of spaces and people, not because you're weak, but because you're open. And openness is strength in its purest form. If even just a few of these signs resonate with you, pause, not for fear, but for reverence, because something sacred may be stirring within you, and it's time to listen. Free will versus destiny. Destiny has a way of whispering, not declaring. It doesn't chain you, it calls to you. The day you were born may offer a blueprint, a sacred sketch of your soul's possibilities, but the ink is still in your hands. Your birth date isn't a contract. It's a doorway. It doesn't force you down one hallway. It simply opens possibilities you're free to walk through. Or not. You could be born with intuitive gifts, spiritual insight, a calling that burns softly inside you, and still choose not to follow it. You could live an ordinary life and the world would go on. That's the beauty and burden of free will. But when you do answer the call, even quietly, even trembling, something shifts. You're not just reacting to life anymore. You're shaping it from within. Every choice becomes sacred. Every moment, a brushstroke on your soul's canvas. You're not chosen because of the stars alone. You're chosen when you choose to grow. You're chosen when you choose love, even when it's easier to close. When you choose presence, even when it hurts. When you rise again, even when you're tired. Spiritual growth doesn't unfold in perfect lines. It moves like water, rising, falling, carving stone through persistence. not perfection. And your response to life, not your circumstance, is what shapes your spirit. You may have a life path number, a star chart, a sacred date, but none of those can replace your will. They are signs, not scripts, symbols, not sentences. The universe may plant seeds of potential in your heart, but only you can choose to water them. And even that is holy. So if you've wondered whether your life was predestined, or whether you really get to decide, know this: both are true. The path may be shown, but the steps are always yours. You are not a prisoner of fate. You are a co-creator of meaning. And in this sacred dance between destiny and choice, you become who you were meant to be. And if there's one truth I hope stays with you, let it be this: it's not the date you were born, it's how you live each day that makes you chosen. How to develop your spiritual gifts. The gifts inside you, they don't come with instructions. They whisper, they stir, they wait, and the journey to awakening them is less about force and more about gentle unfolding. Meditation is not just about silence. It's about entering a space where your soul has room to speak. In stillness, what's hidden becomes heard. Mindfulness is the art of showing up fully. It's the way you sip tea, feel sunlight, notice your breath. When you're present, your soul arrives too. Study is sacred too. You're not alone in this path. Those who came before you left footprints. Read Carl Jung, explore Buddhist wisdom, dive into energy healing. Not as dogma, but as mirrors. Journaling is soul mapping. When you write down your dreams, your fears, your questions, patterns begin to appear. You become your own teacher. Energy work is a gentle retuning. Whether it's Reiki, yoga, or breath work, you are learning to listen to what your body knows before your mind catches up. Nature isn't just a backdrop. It's a healer. Sit beneath a tree. Walk barefoot on the earth. Let the wind remind you how to let go. Let the stars remind you how to belong. Acts of service are one of the fastest paths to alignment. When you help others without needing anything back, you align your soul with something timeless. You can also use sacred tools, like tarot or I Ching, not to predict your future, but to reflect your present. These are mirrors, not maps. Affirmations are gentle spells we cast on our beliefs. When you say, "I am worthy, I trust the path, I am guided," you speak to the roots of your reality. And above all, walk with others. Spiritual growth may begin within, but it blooms best in community. Find those who see your light and help you keep it lit. Because even though your path is your own, it was never meant to be walked entirely alone. Remember this softly but clearly. Spiritual growth is personal, but it doesn't have to be lonely. So, was your birth date one of the special ones we explored today? Or maybe, as you listened, certain signs quietly stirred something in you. Something that said, "This feels like me." Perhaps your journey hasn't always made sense on the surface. But deep down, you've always known there was something more, something meaningful guiding you, calling you. If anything we shared today touched your heart or mirrored your own experiences, I invite you to leave a comment. Share your story, not just for us, but for someone out there who might be walking the same path in silence. This is how we light the way for each other, not by being certain, but by being open. And if this message found you at the right time, if it felt like more than just a coincidence, you're warmly invited to subscribe, to stay close, and to continue unfolding this journey together. There is so much more waiting to be discovered, within you and in the space between all of us. And always remember this: even if you weren't born on one of the so-called chosen dates, your presence is not random. Your breath is not accidental. You are here for a reason, maybe not a loud reason, maybe not a famous one, but a reason as sacred as anything written in the stars. So keep listening inward, keep answering the quiet call, keep walking toward the light, even when it flickers, because in the end, it's not just about being chosen, it's about choosing every day to live awake, to live with love, and to shine.